Hi guys, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kylie. I'm currently a first-year dental student at the OHSU School of Dentistry, and I thought it'd be such a great idea to share with you my journey to dental school. I was born and raised in Hawaii, literally the best place any kid could grow up, and if you're a big foodie like I am, it's such a fun place to be. But fun fact, we have no dental school. Growing up, I had a lot of quote-unquote dream jobs. I wanted to be an architect for the longest, I wanted to be a teacher, a dentist, a businesswoman, and an oncologist. And it wasn't until high school that I started to finally narrow down my choices. In high school, we were required to choose an academy. Our school had a business academy, engineering, culinary, teachers, performing arts, sports, and I chose the health academy, just because science was probably my strongest subject at the time. Each academy had path-specific courses, so for example, Health Academy, we had to take medical terminology, and here's a little snippet of me feeding my cousin in our cooperative health class where we had to learn how to feed a patient. On top of all of that, we were assigned to shadow different professions. I was really lucky and was able to shadow both an emergency room doctor and an orthopedic surgeon, and it was so much fun, but not for me. Then in 2018, I graduated from, in my opinion, the best high school in the state. Fun fact, I had to speak at graduation and I cried. It was so embarrassing. But here's a little pic of me at graduation with all of my lays. Later that year, I packed up all my bags, said my goodbyes, and headed to Arizona to start my college journey at Grand Canyon University. Ugh, look how young. I had the absolute hardest time deciding what to major in. I was stuck between biology and marketing. I just loved the idea of marketing and loved the idea of business, and it just seemed so fun, and I really wanted to change things up. Both majors seemed so interesting to me. I ended up choosing to major in biology with an emphasis in pre-medicine because it was a quote-unquote safe choice for me. I was in Health Academy in high school, and that gave me a pretty good grasp on science and health. Now, at this point, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go the medical route or the dental route. The dentist always held a special place in my heart, and as a kid, I absolutely loved going. But I had only shadowed within the medical field, so I wasn't even sure dentistry was the right fit. Either way, the pre-med major was perfect because it provided me with the prerequisites for both paths. Also, don't mind my drawing, I didn't really think this through. Undergrad was so much fun. I played club softball for my school, and we got to travel a lot from Arizona to California to play other schools like UCLA and UCSD and others. I didn't do too bad in undergrad. I got straight A's until my second to the last semester, which kind of sucked, but remember, grades do not define you. Okay, so here's the thing. In high school, I took a bunch of early college classes at our local community college, which put me on track to graduate a year early. So I was freaking out. I was in the second semester of my sophomore year, which was now my junior year, so I needed to figure things out quickly. In January of 2020, I hopped on my computer and messaged a bunch of dentists. Actually, scratch that. I went on LinkedIn and messaged a bunch of dentists in Arizona, and surprisingly, they got back to me really quickly. And then on January 18, 2020, I had my first day of shadowing, and I absolutely loved it. After shadowing a couple of times, I realized that this is something I saw myself doing for the rest of my life. There was just one problem. I had no idea how to become a dentist. After doing some research, watching some YouTube videos, and reaching out to people on Instagram, I realized that there are so many components to a dental school application. And here's the worst part. If I wanted to go to dental school that next year, I had a few months to figure this all out. Okay, here's why I was freaking out. This was a timeline in my head. It was currently January, and the first day of acceptances was in December. And I knew that the application opened in May, but with how behind I was, it was ideal that I would submit in August. Applications could actually be submitted as early as June, but I hadn't taken my DAT or gotten anything situated, so I knew I wasn't going to submit by then. And then I was just praying to God that I would get an interview between August and December. I also had to figure out how I was going to study for and take the DAT between May and August. I also had to ask my teachers for letters of recommendation before May, before we got out of school, so that I was fresh on their mind. And on top of all of that, I really needed to rack up some shadowing hours. I also had to find time to write my personal statement, and then in March, COVID hit. So I was sent home from school, I couldn't shadow anymore, DAT test centers were closed, and everything was just chaotic. Okay, so here's what really happened. From January to July, I was shadowing between 3 different offices because everybody had limited hours and nobody else wanted to let me shadow. And then between May and July, I was studying for the DAT and I finally took it in August. Late, I know, but testing centers were closed and I kept pushing my test back. We finished school in April, and so that's when I asked for letters of recommendation and it gave my teachers a lot of time to write. Between May and July, I also had summer school and I was also volunteering, writing my personal statement, and I was preparing my application as a whole. Then finally, on August 12, 2020, also the death of my bank account, I submitted my application. And then to my surprise, on September 10th, 2020, I got my first dental school interview, and between then and December 15th, I had 5 interviews. Then on acceptance day, I was so happy to hear that I was accepted to 4 out of the 5 schools. If you haven't already, you should go ahead and watch my acceptance day video. I thought I should also add that between December and April, I got about 5 to 6 more interview invites, so if you don't get accepted on December 15th, do not worry. Then on January 8th, 2021, I put my deposit down for the OHSU School of Dentistry. Then in April of 2021, I got my bachelor's degree from GCU, and I also turned 21, so it was such an exciting month. Between May to June, I worked because dental school is expensive. I was a summer school math teacher to middle schoolers, and I also applied to a bunch of scholarship applications to try to save money. Then in July, I stopped working and we went traveling for my brother's baseball team, and in August, I finally packed my bags and flew to Oregon to start dental school. And here I am now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're staying happy and healthy during these crazy times. Bye!